Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. If you're returning, thank you so much. I appreciate all the likes, subscribe, comments, all the feedback, whether it's good or bad. Thank you so much. Today we doing kind of the same kind of look. Instead, it's going to be a closure quick weave, glueless closure quick weave. So yes, stay tuned. Let's get into it. So I always start off by blowing the hair out first, just so you can get it super flat and as straight as possible with the blow dryer. And then I start off by molding it. Now y'all know I love olive oil products, so we're gonna use the gel for the roots, and then we're gonna use pudding for the rest of the hair. I like to only use gel at the roots because the gel is gonna make sure the hair stays flat. Even when they're in the shower, working out, or anything, it's gonna stay flat. The pudding just helps the hair stay soft while you're braiding, because especially if your client has thick hair, it's going to be getting tangled as you're braiding it. So the pudding just helps the hair stay super soft and silky. And the softer the hair, the flatter the braid. If you're not adding any product, it's just going to be a big, thick braid. You want to add products so that it's like almost like a feed-in braid. You know, like how feed-ins, the braid gets smaller once they start adding products. So that's what we're going to do. So I always do 2 to 4 braids depending on the hair size and the thickness of the hair. For her hair, I believe I did 4 braids. So I always start off doing 2 on the sides, and there's no perfect amount. I just like to take out the amount, a certain amount that's gonna keep maintaining that flatness, if you get what I mean. So then we just gonna bring that around and just make it into a perimeter braid. This helps keep it flat as well. And then you're just gonna go in and redo the same process. You're gonna see me using pudding on this part. That's just to detangle the roots of her hair at the top so that could really be flat. Once you add this gel, it kind of hardens a little bit, so it's not that easy to comb through. So then you're just gonna proceed to braid and redo this step about 3 to 4 times.
Junk up in the trunk. When a real one hold you down, babe, you supposed to drink. You ain't no fun with no boss, bitch. I turned you out. You won't catch me in no shark boots. I burnt them out. Bitch, you gotta wait till their birthday to go out of town, bro. Yeah, I talk a lot of shit. He like who you think you is. Nigga, not your bitch.
If y'all happen to see my girl in the corner throughout this video, don't mind her, child. And as you see, once I went to the opposite side, I connected that front braid to the perimeter braid that's at the bottom. That creates 1 braid. You want to have as less braids to sew down as possible, just so it can continue to stay flat. Now, as far as sewing the braids, this is kind of something that you want to play with before you start sewing it down, to make sure you sew it in the right areas so that it's still staying flat. So I just kind of like to play, like position them before actually attaching them to each other. So you just kind of want to maneuver them so that the install stays flat. As you can see, I kind of did like a beehive kind of method. Instead of overlapping the braids on top of each other, you don't want to do that because that'll make it super bulky. So you kind of just want to lay them super duper flat and sew them as tight as possible, but not too tight because this is still a quick weave.
So with no hands you can learn. Let's see how much you can earn. Why me go big like the worm? And I ain't smoking no shirt. I'm in the repeating QP. I love my this pretty, they showing it this up to the ceiling. I let her run through 1,000,000, I rock with her really, let's fuck on the bed. I'ma get down to the gritty, then got the city, the home of the villains. Ecstasy, wonderful feeling. Smoke out the pound when I'm chillin'. Trapping, I made me a killer. Look, I got everybody with.
This is how flat your foundation should be looking once you're done and once the cap is on. The cap really reveals the flatness of the whole install, so that'll let you know whether you did right or wrong.
Let me jump right off the curb. Make this right fly like a bird. Spin on the first and the third.
Before you start adding the mold, I highly recommend putting a cape. If you don't have a cape, put a towel around your client's outfit, their neck, because this can get kind of messy and it drips sometimes. Me personally, I like to just use it straight out the bottle. You can get a bowl, pour it in the bowl or something flat and pour it on something flat and use like a brush to apply it. But this is my method because it works for me. It's quicker. Sometimes I do use the brush just to smooth it in and make sure it's really touching the hair so no glue is. But for the most part, y'all, I really just use the bottle. Now, as far as laying the mold on top of the cap, you do want to keep in mind that you are going to be laying a closure down. Now, you do not want the black cap to sit under the closure at all because then her scalp will look black and it will just look a hot mess, to be honest. So you want to leave at least like 3 to 4 inches in the middle area for the part and for like the baby hairs and for like the front area so that it could look seamless and natural with no black showing underneath the lace. Now we're gonna go and outline the entire area that we plan to glue down on. And I do this with the hair glue. I do this while the mold is still wet so that it can all dry together. Doing it after kind of defeats the purpose. The cap is still gonna lay down. However, it's probably not gonna last as long as it should because you didn't initially put that glue on there. So then I go and I sit the client under the dryer for maybe 10 minutes. Maybe like 13, 15, depending on how hot the dryer that you have is. But yes, if you don't have a dryer, you're just going to use a handheld dryer and just keep drying until it's hard, not wet at all in any area. If you apply the glue onto the wet cap, it will just slide off. So now I am just about to lay the lace onto her skin just to see how big it is because we're now about to measure the band. While she's under the dryer, we're going to be sewing that band to the closure. The band is what keeps the closure in place. To measure the band, I like to measure the closure first like you saw me doing, just so I could see where it ends and where it starts. If you are a beginner, I recommend using like some type of makeup just so you can mark where the closure ends and starts. That way it'll be easier for you to measure the band. Now, you don't want the band to be extra super tight, so as you're stretching it out, you don't want to pull it to the fullest capacity. I'll also link the Amazon store that I get these bands from. They're only $5, I think, and these bands last me probably like a lot of clients, I'll say. So now we're about to start sewing the band on the closure. I like to sew the band on top of the lace. I'm showing you visually here so you can see exactly how to sew it, because if you sew it going under the lace, I'm trying to explain this right, y'all, please bear with me, but you just want to sew it so that the bulky part is not laying into your client's skin. You want the bulky, the sewed part with the thread, it gets bulky after you sew it down because of the thread. So you want that part to be on top of the lace. Now, in my beginner days, I sewed it wrong and it would make a dent in the client's forehead because of the bulkiness and how tight the band will be. So you really want to make sure you're sewing it the proper way. So if you want to go back and pause and look and see, but that is very important. You always want to double check and make sure the lace matches the skin. I highly recommend using lace tint, no makeup. I will tag above the website that I get my lace tint from. I did use the shade bronze for her skin tone. So now we're going to secure the lace. You do want to make sure you're tying down the front part while you're securing this down so nothing is moving and everything is staying in place. I do this by adding hair glue to the actual lace, but you only want to do it on the thicker part of the lace. You do not want to put it on the center at all, and you want to put the lightest amount because as you're gluing it down, this is lace and this is liquid. So the liquid is going to seep through the lace. So you want the tiniest amount on there, just enough to make it stick really good and not go through the lace. That's the goal. You don't want the glue to go through the lace, as you can see right here, and I'm pulling it so you can see how tight it is. You can go rewind. I feel like that clip was really fast, but you just want to do it in 3 parts. So you're going to repeat that step 3 times. I like to do it in 3 parts because it's kind of difficult to glue down the entire closure while also simultaneously pressing it down and blow drying at the same time. It's kind of a lot. If you end up having bubbles at the end, you do want to go in with glue and just get all of that. Every little inch you want it to be down. That's how it maintains the flatness. So the reason why I glued the closure down is so that when the removal process comes about, they won't have to cut anything. They won't have to pick up their scissors for anything until they get to the braiding part, of course, but that's really simple. But when they're washing this out, you want them to just go under the water and you want it to just come out in one piece. So I feel like doing the closure like this just makes the whole process easier for them when it's time to remove it.
It's 7 p.m. Friday, it's 95 degrees. I ain't got no nigga, and no nigga ain't got me. I'm about to show my ass. These niggas love free. How the fuck is that your man? If he right here with me, Friday night, hot as hell, and you know the hoes out. Mani petty, wrist set, and I got my toes out. I'm rocking off-white on the off night. These bitches with me pretty, and they y'all can fight.
So now we're gonna get started on parting and kind of customizing the front part. I'm gonna pluck it right now, but I'm also gonna pluck it again later in the end. I'm gonna do a separate plucking video for you guys. I couldn't fit it in with this one because this install was already taking forever in real time. So I'm gonna do a separate video for that for y'all. So you just want to clip the rest of the hair up so that we can start gluing in the tracks. You don't want any hair to get stuck in the glue or on the glue. So I always start at the very bottom. For this particular install, I'm curving the track starting from the very beginning of laying them because I want it to fall in her face. You really want the hair to cover up the band mostly, and just for this look you want it to go in her face. If the hair is getting installed straight across instead of with a little curve, it'll go to the side immediately, and then that'll have the band showing and it just won't look as natural. Simultaneously, every couple of tracks I like to blow dry just to make sure that it's staying dry and it's really secure. Once you start laying tracks on top of other tracks, it can be kind of hard for the air to hit that particular part to dry it. So I just really like to make sure every single track is accounted for, it's glued, it's stuck like duct tape. So just make sure you blow dry it in between every other track or each track. You also want to press down kind of not hard, but just a little bit roughly than normal, just so that the glue is really like bonding in and really sticking. Every once in a while I like to take the hot comb to flatten out the root of the tracks. If you rewind and go back to the very first track I laid, like look at the roots on this one, like it's just super bulky from being tied up for so long. So hot combing those tracks in between while you're doing the install will help the flatness in the end. Remember y'all, we all about flat installs, flat. So yes, hot comb as much as you can. And also as you're installing it, back to how we're placing the tracks, you just want to keep curving them as you're going all the way up to the top until you get to this part, and then we're going to start laying them straight across just so it can not cause any lumpiness and stay flat towards the back.
I'm a hometown hero, niggas. Green like CeeLo. These niggas do anything for some C-notes. At what cost?
Hit Mercedes, buy some free cars.
I know this nigga's worse off. Maybe my sense of.
And remember to blow dry.
I just make songs. Or am I the sound how this shit goes? That's sarcasm, by the way.
You wanna be my hero. You won't even do the help. Oh, this shit don't add up.
We're gonna go in with the hot comb again, and then I also like to go in with a flat iron. If the hair has any type of wave in it and they want curls, you want to get those crinkles out first. The crinkles will affect how the curl looks, lays, lasts, all of that. So it's best to just get them out. And this also just creates for a more silkier look in the end. When it comes to laying the closure and making it flat, edge tamer or an edge stick will be your best friend, or a wax stick is the other name for it, but that's gonna be your best friend. That's gonna help the hair get really, really flat. So I don't use the hot combs that plug into the wall. This is one that plugs into the wall, but I cut the cord and I just stick it into my Marcel heater. So that is the best hot comb to use. The plug up ones, they work, they're doable, especially for on the go. But for your initial install and to really get that flat look, you want something with more heat.
Come see you today. You ain't I'm stuck up in my ways. But love it when I'm playing games. That's the only way we get away.
I see how flat that looks. Keep on hot combing until you get the final result that you want.
That's why I cannot go away. I leave you screaming anything. You find a way to keep me in. Baby, do some magic in me. Bad like you did it. Yeah. Don't be tripping, I'll be there in a minute. You can beat it, and I'll be there. Be there.
Hot combing and plucking is really gonna get you that seamless, natural install. I am going in, I'm plucking it some more. I'm really just removing hairs that don't give natural hairline. So I'm making indentures, like just really making it look super, super natural, like how the final look looks. So after you're done doing a little bit of plucking, the gel that you apply to the front of the hairline, do not apply it to the lace at all. Try to strictly put it on the hair, and that creates that natural, like it's coming from the scalp type of look. So now we're gonna get into the layers. I like to start mid back for this particular look, and then just go all the way down. I don't cut all the way to the end of the hair. I kind of stop at 1 inch before the end, only because I don't like to take away from the ends that much. I always clip the ends in the end once I'm done layering, because it does take away from the fullness of the ends of the hair. So you're always gonna have to clip the ends. I just don't like to clip that much. So you're gonna see me going in with the layers, but not all the way to the very bottom. And I'm kind of cutting in like a diagonal, so the whole back is going to be stopping. The layers are going to really be at the bottom, and once I get to the sides of her face and her head, that's when we're going to really start going in with the layers and starting up with the layers more. So the back is going to be cut low layers, and then the front is going to be higher layers. That's how you really get that look. For me personally, you do want to make sure that you're sectioning off the sides that are going to require more layering, just so you can get it out the way and you won't accidentally cut into what you're not supposed to be cutting. So I'm gonna layer it once, and then you're gonna see me go over it again and layer it again. This is how you get that heavy layer look. If they want light layers, I normally just start off with what I did in the beginning and I leave it at that. I don't go back in and add more layers. But this is a really, really heavy layered look. So you're gonna see me starting off light, just because I am gonna go in again. You don't wanna start off cutting a lot of hair. You wanna literally glide across the hair and slowly snip. Now you see how I'm pulling the hair out and I'm kind of showing like where to cut at. I'm like spreading it out with my fingers and I'm showing. That is how you're gonna see what needs more layering or not. That's how you're gonna double check when you're going in for your second round of layering. Now when I am pulling it back like that, that's how the curl is going to be positioned. So how I layer is I think about the curls, how the curls is going to look. So the curls are going to be going towards the back, being intertwined with each other. So you want the layers to kind of flow like that and be cut like that too, if that makes sense. So as you can see, before I was cutting vertically, going up and down. Now I'm going to start cutting diagonal, going across. This is just gonna really give like that extra layered look, and you really just layering from a totally different angle, which creates a different look.
I ain't gotta know astrology, I know your vibe. Skip the footplate, you don't let niggas fuck with your mind. I ain't giving out apology when I'm behind. Fucking up the streets of the brand new ride.
Moving too fast, candy paint with the windows all black, seats creme brulee. What they gon' say? With the top down, screaming money, anything. We up till 6 in the morning.
I like to double check it and just run my fingers through it, position it how I would position the curls, just to make sure the layers are in the right place and it's gonna flow the way I want it to flow. So now we're gonna jump in and start on the second side with layering, and you just wanna do the exact same thing. Start off by cutting vertically, not all the way to the end, and then start cutting diagonally.
Fucking up the streets of the brand new ride.
Baby, we ain't gon' last, baby. We ain't gon' last, baby. We ain't gon' last, baby. Your intuition has been telling you things that you never knew. Rubbing shoulders with bitches I used to put on pedestals, but still I keep it professional. Laying in the bed and you acting like I can't even touch you. I don't know why you do that. Shower with the door open while you do that. Drop the towel right in front of me, you cross. Oh no, baby, talk to me, baby. Say it to me straight, then I make a mistake and I can't concentrate while you're standing there naked. Acting strange, yeah, something tells me we ain't gon' last, baby. 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 And something tells me we ain't gon' last, baby. 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 My intuition has been telling me.
You see how it's still full even after cutting the layers? So you really just want to make sure you're being really careful with this step and following every single step that I gave you. So yes, just follow the steps, y'all, and you will be fine. This really takes a lot of practice though. Even me doing what I do, it took me a while to get it to, but just follow each step. I didn't fast forward this part. I just kept it at regular pace so that y'all could see it in real time. If you notice areas where you feel like it needs a little bit more layering, go in and do just that. I have a very big imagination, so once I picture the look in my head, especially the way the curls are gonna go, I'm picturing how the layers should go, because the layers are always gonna follow the curls.
I don't bother with these hoes, don't let these hoes bother me. They see pictures, they say ghosts, bitch, I'm who they tryna be. Look, I might just chill with some babe, I might just chill with some fruit, I might just spill on your bed. My pussy feel like a lake, he wanna sit with his face. I'm like, okay, I let him get what he want. He buy me East and Laurent, and the new whip, when it go fast as a horse. I got the trunk in the front, I'm the hottest in the street. Yo, you probably heard of me, got a bag and fix my teeth. Hope you hoes know it ain't cheap, and I pay my mama bills. I ain't got no time to chill. Think these hoes be mad at me, they baby father wanna bill. That little bitch, you can fuck with me if you wanted to. These expensive, these is red bottoms, these is bloody shoes. Hit the store, I can get them both. I don't wanna choose, and I'm quick, cut a nigga off, so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't dance now, I make money move. Say I don't gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you now speak, that means I don't fuck with you. I'm a boss, you a worker, bitch, I make bloody moves. If you a pussy, you get popped. You a goofy, you a op. Don't you come around my way, you can't hang around my block. And I just check my account, turns out I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. I put my hand above my hip, I bet you dip, he dip, she
fuck with me if you wanted to. These expensive, these is red bottoms, these is bloody shoes. Hit the store, I can get them both, I don't wanna choose. And I'm quick, cut a nigga off, so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't dance now, I make money move. Say I don't gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you now speak, that means I don't fuck with you. I'm a boss, you a worker, bitch, I make bloody moves.
So now we're gonna get started on the curls. For this specific look, you want a curl going up instead of under. And this is exactly what I mean. You're gonna go up with the curl. Going up with the curl creates more volume. When you're going down, it kind of makes the curls appear more flatter. Depending on the hair type, they'll still be juicy and bouncy, but this creates that real bouncy look along with the curls. So make sure you do not miss this step. You're gonna see me clipping them, but then I'm gonna eventually unclip them once the curl is cooled down. You wanna really clip it while it's hot so that you can catch the heat. The heat is what holds the curl.
Everything you do makes me love everything about you. Your smile, your style is so fly. I can't deny. I got a crush on you, and that's true indeed. And I'm digging you. You make me believe that your love is one in a million. It goes on and on and on. You give me a really good feeling. All day long, your
I don't wanna leave. I don't wanna go. So sugar, I don't wanna be alone. I don't wanna be. I don't wanna leave. I don't wanna go. So sugar, I don't wanna be alone. You be like, I don't wanna be. I don't wanna
Are y'all seeing the vision? You see how the curls is going inward? So it's really just gonna give that look. And they already juicy without combing them out. So imagine.
Go away. Ain't about to die with no money I done gave you.
I was losing my way, crying every day. When a real one holds you down, babe, you supposed to drown. You ain't never fuck with no boss bitch, I turned you out. You won't catch me in no sharp boots, I burned them out. Bitch, you gotta wait till their birthday to go out of town. Yeah, I talk a lot of shit. He like who you think you is, nigga, not your bitch. Nigga, not your hoe. Think he got one up on me, hoe, turn this shit like 3-0, twin. Bitch, I be going in. Bitches clearly want my life, and it's so evident. Cook, clean, and fuck 'em right.
So this is probably gonna be one of the last pieces that we curl going up in the front. And then the rest are gonna be curled under, going towards the back to create that bang look that we want with the middle part. This is where I'm going to start curling under. As you can see the difference in how I'm holding the curling iron.
If it was smoke, then I was sad. Bitch, I'm crystal clear. Left my pennies at his mansion like a souvenir. When a real one holds you down, babe, you supposed to drown. You ain't never fuck with no boss bitch, I turned you out. You won't catch me in no sharp boots, I burnt them out. Bitch, you gotta wait till their birthday to go out of town. Broke it. Yeah, I talk a lot of shit. He like who you think you is, nigga, not your bitch. Broke it. Nigga, not your hoe.
I know this hot comb hate to see me coming. It should hate to see y'all coming too. You want this install, any install, to be so flat. So this is really important, y'all, because we didn't do any baby hairs, and I hate the no baby hair look that be so flat. You still want it to give body. So you see how I lifted the front up with the hot comb? You want to flatten it first, like how I'm doing, and then you want to go in with the hot comb in the front and just slick that right on up a little bit. Sometimes it helps to add a little product right there, like a little spray or gel, but for the most part you could just use the hot comb just so it won't be like that flat wig looking look. And when I say flat, I'm really just talking about the front. I'll insert a picture to see what I mean, because we are going for a flat look, but that front area, yeah, you want it to have a little bit of volume to give like it's literally coming out her scalp. So you are going to see me adding more layers. For me personally, I like to add more layers when the curls are finished, because it just creates a totally different look. Once you do it, you'll see what I mean. But the layering is the key part to this install. So it's okay if you have to keep layering, or if you see something and you're like, okay, I need to add more layers in this part, that's completely okay, because this is a heavy layered look. You don't want to do that with light layers though.
Young gun on one that they working my nerves. I'm about to pause for serve. In this perm. Smack from the back of a perm.
And I'm really adding it in places where I see like the hair is too long, or it's not flowing in a space, or it just looked like absolutely nothing was cut in a certain area. So that's really what I'm doing and how I'm deciding where to cut the layers at. Now it is time to comb it out. This is the finished look. I always recommend using a wide tooth comb. You do not want to comb out the curls too much or at all, really. You just want to form them. So even right here, I'm cutting more layers. You just gonna start noticing little areas that it's like, okay, yeah, I need to cut this. But please, y'all, comment what y'all think. Comment anything that y'all feel like I should show more of. I should talk more about. Just let me know, y'all, what y'all think should be improved, and did y'all really learn from this? So yes, I appreciate all the feedback. So as you can see, when I'm combing the curls out, the bang isn't really sitting right, so I'm gonna go ahead and recurl that. But you see how the band is barely showing at all because of the way I installed the tracks. It's only showing right now because I'm lifting up this whole entire side of the closure, but the tracks are really covering the band. So that's why you want to install them the way that I recommended.
Don't mean I trust you, I don't.
Baby, does he do it for you? When he's finished, does he step back and adore you? I just gotta know, 'cause your time is money and I won't let him waste it. Oh no, no. Baby, just go with it. 'Cause when you're with me, I can't explain it. It's just different. We can take it slow. Or act like you're my girl. Let's get the basics. Whoa, no. He's so replaceable. You're worth the chase, you're worth
cut with them